As you saw at the end of the last video, we have finally made it to Northern Barrens, and it's kind of in the name, but comparing it to Duratar, I think it's going to be more interesting. I understand Barrens is in its name. Let's just have a look and see what the zone looks like. Yeah, it's pretty bland. Now, there is a lot of story here, and honestly, most of the story in this zone is not even within the quest chain, and we'll definitely make sure to go over that. One very popular creature in this zone is the Quillboar. The Quillboar are sort of believed to be descendants of their demigod, which is Agamagan, which is a giant boar that has since perished. But basically, we can mark the areas that the Quillboar are located just by these thorns. You can see these thorns in the background. This is supposedly where Agamagan's blood was dropped in the battles that they've had throughout history, specifically against the Burning Legion. I know they showed up here and all of the gods kind of grouped up together to fight them off, and Agamagan's blood created these areas and also created Quillboar that kind of praise these areas and definitely take up refuge in these areas. One other thing about the Quillboar is that they are warriors. They are known for their relentless warrior-like kind of virtue above anything else. They are more than happy to go to a battle and even die. Some of their leaders are usually like healers or shamans. Some of them also practice geomancy, which is like working with rock magic. You'll find that some of them in different dungeons and different content will also have rock monsters that they're trying to control. The starting of the Northern Barrens quest chain is actually saving the people from the Quillboar. Basically, they showed up to this farm and they wanted to steal supplies. So they come here, we saved these wolves, we released them. I know they're not physically released, but I have the quest completed, so I guess I'm done. But what they're doing is they're raiding the horde for supplies. And so what they want us to do is to just push them back even further than they are. They're starting to get a bit more ferocious and more aggressive with their attacks. And so they just want us to clear them out quickly to get them freed from the oppression that they're starting to provide to the horde. Another thing is, as you can see, these plain striders have a quest associated with them too. And that's because with all of the lost supplies, we're needing to replenish them and bring them to the crossroads, which is a very important town that we'll be running into shortly here. A little bit more massacring before we leave. For the horde, you know? We all know how awful escort quests can be, and I swear they've changed this zone's escort quest. But basically, this zone is famous for it. There are so many different escort quests where you have to carry on a caravan from point A to point B, and it's really known as being super tedious. In this case, I don't know if they updated it, or if this is how it was before Cataclysm, but it's much better now, and I'm a big fan of it, honestly. It's pretty simple, you get free transport, it's pretty straightforward, and also kind of nice that you don't have to like try to figure out why a mob would have faster than walking movement speed, but slower than running movement speed, so you can't move together with them. What a pain that can be. I will see you at the end of the ride. And we've made it to the next quest hub. Mankrik is also a famous character. We'll kind of go over his story later on, as it's kind of a different section of the topics we're covering. We also have to torture, or in my case, tickle, this Quillboar for information. I tickle them, and then I murder their people. What a strange situation. I'm also a saint, because I just tickled him and didn't kill him. What a nice guy. More massacres, more supplies, more fighting, more war, more oppression, more helping the horde, more dots.
I don't see enough dots. More dots now.
You know the drill.
More dots. Throw more dots. More dots. More dots. Come on, more dots.
And of course, one additional caravan quest, exactly like the last one, right after this. That file did get corrupted though, so I can't really play it. Sorry. Following the caravan quest, this is where it led. We got to the crossroads. The crossroads are a very large part of history of the Barrens and also just the Horde in general. The crossroads is a main central point for trading, for the NPCs, of course, from neighboring zones, And also, it's a place to restock before you go to the war effort, which is near Ashenvale. The Horde and the Alliance actually have battled over Crossroads multiple times, as we understand that the Alliance have an outpost in the Northwatch region just across the chasm that Cataclysm created with Deathwing flying over and tearing the land asunder. Another interesting thing about the Crossroads is that it's a central cemetery, just like Westfall has Sentinel Hill. When you die and the game doesn't know where to send you, this would be the place. And that's since changed over time. However, this is the equivalent. Now we'll talk about the player interaction of the zone. The Alliance and the Horde have actually fought over the player base, have fought over the Crossroads many times. Since it is so close to Ashenvale and there was an NPC there that would sell PvP gear, it makes sense that a lot of Alliance players were there in Classic. And there were a lot of fights in Crossroads. I mean, I myself have even come here just because it's such a popular place. And there's even more history regarding players in this zone. Some of it is involving Mancrick's wife, which we will go over shortly. And then also, some of it is revolving Barrens chat, which is the birthplace of a lot of different memes in World of Warcraft that we even see in trade chat today. Do not let the peaceful nature of the zone fool you, because the zone was a lot weirder before. You see, Barrens chat was all about making jokes. There were a lot of Chuck Norris jokes in the chat, there was a lot of arguing that was pointless, a lot of politics at times. There's also a lot of anal jokes in the chat too. A lot of strange stuff. Now, bringing back to the idea of Mancrick's wife, she was actually not really a character in the game. There was a beaten corpse that we found that was identified as Mancrick's wife. People instead would direct people to Mancrick's wife instead of actually directing them to a real location for what they were looking for, because it was such a meme and so many people asked it in the chat. So if you're hanging out in the zone for so long, you might as well just start having fun and telling people to go find Mancrick's wife, because no one could find her anyway. Going back to the real story now, I have to prove my bravery to Surgra that I can kill animals, I guess. And then also I have to help this apothecary get some fungus that helps Lordaeron, which sounds a little scary. So specifically, we started off with killing some huntresses and then also some Zevra. We just have to prove our valiant effort by showing their claws and then also the Zevra hooves. Maybe they use them as supplies. I don't really know, but it seems they're not 100% drop rate, which is pretty common for this time period. I mean, some of these drops were abysmally like 5% for an item. I can remember the same happened to me in Westfall. But either way, let's go turn these in and see what's next. Next up, we were told to kill the King of the Pride. We went ahead and did that. I'm out-leveled for the content, so it's really easy. And I guess we're just going to go prove that we did a good job again, and then see what comes after this one. Surgra wanted me to put fear into the hearts of the raptors and show that I'm not to be messed with. That was pretty quick. I've actually found out that the quest itself has some mismatched points on where to place the feathers, so it took me a little bit longer. And going back to old quests, they didn't really have indicators all the time, so it's at least nice that they gave me some direction. This is a bit unrelated to questing, but they no longer allow you to mine while you're flying anymore. You used to be able to just hover over them while on a flying mount so you don't have to get dismounted every time, but with the new patch it looks like they took that away. That's rude. The fungus quest led me to these two NPCs who are both on completely separate missions. They don't know they're there. They don't see each other at all. They both want me to kill Centaur. They're both blind. I don't really know what they're looking to do here. They should really work together or something. After completing the quests, I realized that they really just wanted me to kill them for completely separate reasons. One of them, the Tauren, they have a lot of history with centaurs, the Tauren in general. They are in a constant battle with them, and they started to form a band of leaders that are a threat. The Troll, they just wanted to get more information on them. They wanted me to kill them indiscriminately, as he said. That's a little horrifying. After helping out at the crossroads, we were sent to Ratchet, which is an old city. It's been here for a very long time. It's created and manned by the goblins. They started here with one idea in mind, making money. And as you can see, they have ships here. They want me to deal with the Theramore brigade because they are stopping them from actually making money with both Horde and Alliance ships. And the goblins don't like that, so they're going to have me go deal with their people.
What can I do for you?
Hello, good sir. I heard you have some schematics for me. Oh, uh, nothing to see here. Don't mind if I take some of those? Yeah, I'll be on my way. One thing I've noticed while I've been in this zone is a repetition, kind of like a broken record. The centaurs are acting weird and we have to kill them. The animals are acting funny and a little bit more violent, so we kill them too. And also the plants are acting funny, and we're not really killing the plants, but we're doing a lot of tests on them, and who knows what the undead plan to do with the newfound herbs that they're getting here and the fungi. I'm sure it's nothing. Fun fact, one thing I've noticed is some of these mobs will drop this coal car booty key. Booty. Anyway, there's a few different chests in the zone that will always drop an uncommon or green item, and it seems to be a good way to farm old items or recipes or transmogs. I helped a group of pirates commit a mutiny against another pirate in order to help the goblins make more money. For like a brokering a trade offer is kind of what I'm thinking this is about. And also they have a ship, so they can go to that port too. I didn't really show it, but I murdered a lot of Theramore guards as well, so now that they're not really in the way anymore, more money can be made. These quests are really all over the place in this zone, and I feel like I'm on the newest episode of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, if your kids were flesh-eating raptors. This is one of the most beautiful sights in the game. You just have so many different things to turn in at once, and you just know you're going to level up a few times. That's in the normal game though. In my questing experience, I don't really get much experience at all, so I don't really get any of it, but the joy of turning in quests is still there. Now, I don't want anyone saying there's nothing interesting in this zone. I know there's kind of a big lack of it. However, we at least do have a little boat ride. It's no rocket from Ajara, though I long for the days to get another one of those again, though I don't think there are any more. Anyway, here we are. We get a little boat ride. We get to go up the little river here to go to the next part of the goblin area. They have this port, and they just kind of control two parts of the coastline. And so the next place that we're going to is actually really memorable for me. I leveled a lot of characters here. I killed a lot of rares in this area to level up. It's an interesting part of the zone. I hope you enjoyed the ride. It was a little sped up just because otherwise it was like 5 minutes. Not in the slightest am I surprised that the goblins want control over this oil rig. Just don't tell the US government, otherwise they'll make a pit stop in World of Warcraft. Now, as a personal trip down memory lane for me, I went to this area specifically to level up my alts, and even Alliance ones just for fun. I don't know, I was a kid at the time, but there are these three rares. You have a Goblin, you have a Sludge Anomaly, and you also have Foreman Grills. Yeah, they're really creative with their names, and I can really appreciate a pun here and there. It kind of reminds me of RuneScape humor a little bit. To repair the goblin's device, I had to help out a guy with clearing out some of the burning blade in the area, and then also collect some of the parts that for some reason they just threw about in buckets around their area. I don't really understand, but basically, there's a decent amount of lore regarding the burning blade, and they used to be very, very good blade masters that worked for the Horde. After the First and Second War, they kind of separated. Some of the Blade Masters remained with the Horde, but also some of them became demon worshippers. And you'll actually see a little bit more of that in the quest chain down the line. You know how I said there was no other rocket ride? Well, I lied. There's actually one other one in this zone. It's not as cool as the other one, but it is still another one, so I'm just going to speed it up and then we're going to fly through it from here. Not quite as good as the last one, but it was still fun. After our crash landing, we took some time killing some more centaurs. They apparently banded together and they wanted to start invading finally, and we're just here to stop them, collect part of their banner, and then head on out, I guess. We also killed some harpies, which are kind of in the corner of the zone. They have their own section. It was really bland. You just kill a few harpies and head on out. They are a bit more prominent in some other zones, so I'll wait to touch on their lore until later. One thing we really haven't touched on is since Garrosh became the leader of the Horde back in Cataclysm, there were a lot of interesting changes he made. One was not trusting anyone but orcs. He believed they were the true Horde, which, don't even get me started on how strange that is racially speaking. But also, he created a large encampment, multiple encampments even, throughout the zone. And as we can see, they show absolute distrust for the undead because they caused a plague bombing during the battle at the Wrathgate, which killed a lot of Alliance and Horde. You know what? I told you. I told you that it's all caravan quests. I'm not really surprised that we are on another journey. At least we get to enjoy and immerse ourselves in the story a little bit as we are taking part in this trek with all of the supplies to save the people. And I really respect that about the game. I really like the lore behind us moving this supply caravan that we have built up over time. We've collected the supplies, we've reclaimed them from the mobs, and now we're bringing them back to the war effort to help participate in the battle. These dummy, stupid faces. I put all this effort into building up this caravan to save the Horde, and these people who used to be Horde are just coming to steal it all. And now they're going on their own personal journey from stealing the caravan from me, and they collected the supplies from the bad people, their version of bad people, and in reality now they're going on the quest. Who's the player now? Am I an NPC? Did they just take it from me, an NPC, and they're just having their own quest, going off to have fun? They also stole my friend. I guess I'll go save him and then see what he has me do. After saving him, it was a very brief trip. I just ran up the hill and then saved him. He told me I have to go collect this demon seed, which actually has some significant storytelling behind it, in Hearthstone particularly. I haven't heard about it that much in World of Warcraft. Maybe we'll see it in the future. I'm really not surprised anymore. It really makes a lot of sense that we're going out with a bang. Literally, I'm literally shooting explosives and guns at different mobs that are chasing me. All the Burning Blade, those naughty boys. What we're going to do is finish out this little journey here, and it's not going to be our final hurrah or our last stop. We have one final place to check on before we're done with the zone. Technically two, but one is in the zone, one is between zones. The one that's within the zone is the one we're checking out most. This is actually kind of fun. They spawned way more mobs than I was even able to kill, and I was clicking fast. I was tabbing and just mashing all the buttons and hoping for the best. But here we are. We brought the supplies, they're proud of me, and on to the next place. The Wailing Caverns is this narrow, tunneling, cavernous location that kind of goes throughout all of the Northern Barrens and also the Southern Barrens. And you know, earlier we were talking about how each location had its own strange aspect to it in the zone. And in this case, the strange thing was that there were random oases that were popping up all over the place. And these oases were actually there because of the Wailing Caverns. The Wailing Caverns has this like rich growth magic, or just it's very nutritious for the earth. I really don't understand that part, but it makes everything grow healthily, and that's where these oases is coming up. Neralex, the founder of these caverns, tried to utilize it to make the Northern Barrens no longer barren. Originally, Northern Barrens was an oasis itself. And since time has passed, he tried to commune with the Emerald Dream to make this place grow again. Unfortunately, the Emerald Nightmare consumed him and many of his followers, leading to the dungeon needing to be cleansed. The final thing we're checking out is the physical fissure that is now separating the Northern and the Southern Barrens. This was created by Deathwing when he flew over the zone. He actually destroyed a ton of stuff. His rising out of the earth also did a lot of damage to it, as we can see. I also want to take this time just to thank you all for understanding that this video took a little bit longer. I actually am a master's student. Took me a little bit longer to get to that. And my computer's been having issues. My bike is having issues. I've had a lot of stuff going on. I'm doing well, so thank you so much for watching, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day.